What's up? We're back with the Daily Exchange, guys. We're here talking about is Bitcoin going all the way back up. We're going to talk about ZRX. We're going to talk about cryptocurrency. We're going to talk about all the different things that are going on with all the hate in the media right now. And you know what? I'm going to break it all down for you, and we're going to rock and roll the Daily Exchange, guys. Welcome to the Daily Exchange. All right, guys, we're here today talking about Bitcoin and where is this market going? Are we going up, all the way back up, or where are we going? Down, up, sideways, inside out? Let's talk a little about the numbers right now. Over the weekend, we dropped down to $5,785. That's a new low for 2018. The last time Bitcoin hit that number, that was back in February or October last year. That's some seriously scary numbers. Bitcoin obviously went back up to 6,200 later that day with a good real spring back, which was kind of cool. Pretty happy about that. Ethereum dropped about $50 in 12 hours. 12 hours! That's got to be a new record. It's back up trading around $460. Litecoin hit a 7th-month low at one point at falling under $80. And it's sitting right now at $81.55. $81.55. That's spicy. EOS was the worst hit one. It was down 30% at one point, and it's trading back now at about $8. This was like literally EOS hell for all the EOS fans out there. Obviously, with the privacy coins, Monero and Zcash, they've been doing okay, but you might want to have a look at their prices right now. They could be trading at a relatively good price. Obviously, this is not financial advice, guys. This is just my opinion, so please don't see this as financial advice at all. It's got nothing to do with financial advice. This is only talking about cryptocurrency. These are just facts, interesting anecdotes, bit of comedy in there, bit of zaniness. You never know what you're going to get on the Daily Exchange. Guys, the thing about it is, let's look at the biggest winners and losers. When it comes to winners and losers right now, I've been looking at all sorts of different coins, and for me, some of the interesting ones we've been looking at, I don't know where my sort of pricing or thing is, but I've been really noticing that Tether has been going up through the roof right now. Lots and lots of volume going into Tether. Obviously, people are getting out of the market, selling down their stocks, and we've obviously got a lot of different other different coins that are moving. You can see a lot of movements there on those ones. Cortex, Theta, Golem up, interesting. Kyber Network, Ontology, really interesting coins. I think the BAT token as well went up quite a bit as well, which is really interesting. And we've got any losers there, Joel? Who are the guys that are losing right now? We've got Redcoin. Geez, I thought Redcoin was up the other week. Anyway, Docademic seems to be really up there as well in terms of trading. In the top 100, seems to be one of the top movers right now. I think it was the second biggest mover in price last week, moving from up 6 cents to 30 cents. Interesting stuff. BAT is down, obviously trading right now, but it has been up throughout the week. It was up last week, up 3 cents to 26 cents. Ethereum Classic was up to obviously up $1.30 to $14.74, and we've been talking about Ethereum Classic all week. Poor little Dogecoin's down a little bit, but I'm really liking Dogecoin right now. Tron has come out with a bit of an article about them potentially plagiarizing all sorts of different blockchains. Even, I think there's been recently found that their actual error messages of Ethereum have been discovered within Tron. And that's spicy. That's really spicy. Jeez, watch out for that. All right, guys, moving on. Let's talk about trends right now. Trends with Bitcoin. Geez, we've been having some really interesting times right now. Obviously, the bear market's continuing right now, and we're trying to stay above that support level of $6,000. Come on, Bitcoin, we can get it. Just stay there. Let's go. We obviously jumped back up when we did drop below, and there's a lot of movement in terms of people really wanting to come in back into the market. Analysts are suggesting that potentially the next support level is around that 5,000 mark. Jordan Hiscott from Yondo Markets told express.co.uk that he'd be surprised if Bitcoin doesn't drop to 5 grand in the European summer, which is on right now. Come on. Jordan, why'd you have to say that? Don't be so keep the bad news to yourself, mate. Todd Gordon, founder of tradinganalysis.com, was on CNBC, and he was pitching 4 grand as the low. 4 grand, come on! I'm buying all the Bitcoin, Joel, when it hits 4 grand. Literally every single one. Anyone who wants to sell me their Bitcoin and it goes below 5 grand, here I am right now. I'll make you an offer on this show. Join in on the comments right now, guys. If you want to sell me your Bitcoin for $4,000 right now, I'll take your Bitcoin. Todd Gordon, literally, the guy is like fallen. But he is expecting a rebound to $10,000 by the end of 2019. Or he's actually saying by 2019. Not saying by the end, but anyway, we'll see how he goes. There are some promising signs, Buck, because right now, True USD, one of the Andreessen Horowitz stablecoins, has hit a market cap of $50 million. Stablecoins seem to be really on the rise right now, and decoupling from stablecoins is absolutely crucial. The reason why it's really important that we decouple from stablecoins is because then we'll be able to 24-hour trade, 7 days a week. Because over the weekend, the banks aren't open, so you can't move money in or out, fiat currency. Whereas if we were tied to a stablecoin, then we wouldn't have to worry about the weekends. That, to me, is a major unlock of cryptocurrency. So as stablecoins rise, I believe that more and more cryptocurrency trading will go on and continue and do a lot better. Andreessen Horowitz also recently launched a... Ben's come on YouTube and he's saying he's not selling. He's not selling to me. Is any other offers out there? There's got to be someone out there that wants to sell me their Bitcoin. Sell it to me for 4 grand. Come on! $300 million. There's no way anyone's selling me their Bitcoin. You know why? Because we're going to go back up, guys. We're going to go back up. Andreessen Horowitz, a $300 million crypto fund. That's crazy, Joel. Crazy, man. $300 million. Andreessen Horowitz is one of the most smartest VC firms. I've been to their office in Silicon Valley. And let me tell you right now, these guys are really smart. Smart dudes, real smart dudes. And let me tell you something about them. They only invest in stuff when it's going to literally be involved with software. They invest long term. Let me tell you about some of their investments right now. They invested in Coinbase in 2013. 2013, that's just wild. And they haven't sold a single cent. That's genius. Genius. $300 million. The general partner, Chris Dixon, said his firm's long-term view on crypto is having flexible investments around different stages, different asset types. They're going to invest in shares, different companies, all sorts of different cryptos. It's going to be great. Meanwhile, Goldman Sachs, their Circle is seeing an absolute boom. They saw a 30% uptick in institutional investors onboarding to Circle Trade in May. 30% uptick. My forecast is that more and more real newspapers and media out there need to pay attention to what's actually going on right now. Real data, guys. Not this hate I'm seeing all over the place. Joel, why is there so much hate going on? Where are all the haters? In trading trends, let's talk about Ripple right now. Ripple is promising this year, the CEO himself, this year, Brad himself is saying that one bank will use Ripple in their payment flows. I love it. That's awesome. We need this adoption, guys. We need this adoption. Come on, Ripple. You can do it. Ripple did see a 5% drop over the weekend, but it was actually one of the fastest ones to rebound. And I've noticed that Ripple is very, 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 very retail friendly. People really like Ripple. And the thing about it is, at the conference, at the CB Insights Future of FinTech 2018 conference this year, at least one bank will use Ripple. And he also said publicly that Coinbase should list Ripple. Brad, that's aggressive. As we solve problems at scale for institutions, I think it's in Coinbase's interest to participate in that. Very passive of you, Brad. I would have said it more aggressive there. I said, get me on your Coinbase because we're Ripple. We're badass. Either which way, I'm going to eat steak tonight because I'm Ripple. He went on to say, I think it's really clear that Ripple is not a security. Now, this is really interesting. He said that basically Ripple's blockchain would exist independent of Ripple. In other words, if the company folded, the Ripple blockchain would carry on. Okay. I'd be interested to see how exactly technologically that works, but let's understand that. And that XRP tokens serve a technological purpose, facilitating money transactions that traditional securities like stocks do not. Ripple also does not entitle its holders to a stake in Ripple in the Ripple company itself. Remember that. There is no stake in Ripple. There's just tokens that are going to be potentially used in the future. Is the actual centralization of the blockchain, is it actually separate from Ripple? Is the blockchain centralized or decentralized? I'd like to hear your thoughts on that, guys, because right now I'm thinking it's pretty up there in terms of centralization, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. You never know your luck. Moving on. We're talking about coin analysis, guys. Coin analysis. Now, every week, Finder brings out this really cool piece of, I brought it up on the screen here, Joel, but this really cool analysis of the 1,586 coins every week. The crew here do an amazing job. And this is actually a preview. It's not out yet. It's a secret one, but I'm just giving you guys a sneak preview. And every week they write about like all the coins and what's happening and all like look at the volumes here. 7-day week on week. It's just the volume's just like, it's really going down. You can look at the top 100 coins and what's going on, movements. As I was saying, the Docademic is moving up, Centrality, the BAT token, Ethereum Classic, Enigma. Some of the interesting movements. Elastos down 40%. I just don't understand that. Elastos is a good chain. Bitcoin had that controversy before. Its current price is 0. That's the first time I've ever seen a coin go to 0. I don't think it's gone to 0. I think the decimal places have gone too far for it to be calculated. But wow, that's the scariest thing I've seen in quite some time. Apologies for anyone who owns Bitcoin out there, but that was rather scary. The biggest decreases we also saw were Bitcoin Cash, MakerDAO down $99. That's pretty up there. It's about 20%. Ethereum down 56. It's about 1/9. Dash is down underneath, getting all around that 200 mark. Dash is an interesting one because you've got to spend about, I think it's about $500,000 US dollars, or it might be 300,000 US dollars in order to buy a mastered node. So the mastered node prices might be getting a little bit cheaper right now. Ethereum Classic, Docademic, Basic Attention Token, Enigma, and Centrality. 24-hour trading volume, guys. Really interesting stuff right now. Last week we saw 83% of coins decrease in price. That's pretty brutal. It was $94.1 million in traded last week. 6% was down, obviously down. Biggest growth percentage was Bitcoin, up 240%. Bitcoin? I don't know what that is. Docademic saw the biggest percentage increase at 26%. Obviously top 5 movers right now. Tether really moving up, Ethereum up, Bitcoin, EOS up, and Litecoin lots of movements. Biggest decreases in volume were VeChain, Quantum, Mithril, CyberMiles, and IOTA. The Tether move up is very, very logical in my mind. Lots of people moving into Tether because of the fear of obviously where we're at and where things are potentially going. My view on that is it could be good for the short term, but you're potentially trying to catch a falling knife. Who knows? But like, there's a lot of experts out there that are predicting we're going to go lower. I'm hoping we're going to go potentially up from here because I believe in this space, and I know you do as well. All right, guys, moving on. Joel, do you want to share that link with the guys It's an incredible piece of analysis. If you go to just type into Google Finder weekly coin analysis, and you'll be able to see the weekly coin analysis. It's an incredible piece of work. It's on finder.com, so it's global. Everyone can see it. Strongly advise you to check that out. The guys do an amazing work putting that together every week. Vicky with her analysis. It's an incredible piece of work. Strongly encourage you guys to have a look at that. All right, moving on. I want to talk about ZRX. ZRX. Yep, ZRX. Let's look at the price right now of ZRX. Where are we at with the price of ZRX? ZRX and with its price, the thing of it is what I want to try and impress upon everyone. I'm not a hater. I just want to talk about the facts. And what I'm struggling with right now is the tokenomics behind ZRX. It's up 5%. Let's go to the daily. Seems to have moved up like with most things and come back down around that 69 cents mark. It's always been a big fan, and the idea of what it's trying to achieve in terms of decentralized exchanges and sharing that volume between the different exchanges. I think it's a great idea, great concept, right? But the problem I've got is the tokenomics. The tokenomics of the ZRX token, I think, are broken. I know. Because I don't see the rationale and reason for people to relay it. There is no decreasing supply of the coin or incentives for people to market make using the coins between them. They should get paid between the different exchanges. And I think what we need to do is have a relook and have a vote. I'm starting up a vote, Joel. We're starting a vote. ZRX tokenomics vote. And my vote is we change it. There's a really, really good article this week by Wacky, by the head of research, which I personally really, really loved, suggesting two things. One, that we have a token burn, in other words, a percentage of fee that might be obviously added every single transaction, and that will be used to burn tokens. Those tokens that are burned might be used to actually fund other things, but they essentially get pulled out of the system, and the overall supply decreases, which increases the price. Now, that doesn't currently happen right now, so there's no reason. So if you get given ZRX, right, if you share a thing and you get paid in it, you're probably going to sell it straight away. So that doesn't increase. It's got a buy and a sell that's exactly the same. You're going to buy ZRX to use the system, and you're going to sell it just when you get the fees. So there's no improvement here in price. There's no reason for that. The other thing potentially I would suggest, and this is what these guys are suggesting as well, and I really like it, is that potentially they should reward market makers with either a fee discount by paying the fees in ZRX. Again, taking like a velocity sink, taking coins out of the system, staking them, and getting them to be used, taken out of the system so that they're used for actually some sort of utility. Again, an issue with the ZRX tokenomics is there aren't these kind of incentives right now in the system. Now, the big thing about ZRX Bot is it is a governance token, so you can use it to vote. So anyone who is out there holding ZRX, jump onto the Reddit, jump onto the Bitcoin Talk, get onto Finder, get in the channels right now, and start going and starting to create this vote. I'm calling a ZRX vote. ZRX vote. Hashtag. Joel, there's a hashtag for you right there. ZRX vote. And let's change the governance of ZRX to improve the tokenomics. Now, the CEO's come out and said this is not required. I don't unfortunately, I'm going to have to disagree with you. I don't agree. I think we need to improve the tokenomics of the system and actually give it some rationale, because right now, I actually think the idea of the project is very good. They've raised a lot of money, but anyone who's holding ZRX tokens right now, you're probably holding potentially a shitcoin, because there's no tokenomics and no reason for it to go up in value right now, apart from lots and lots of people using it. But they don't need to use it because they're not actually getting money and incentives to keep using it. They're just buying and selling in the exact same equal weight. Now, that's not good for coins. If you read this article, it's an incredible article, and I strongly encourage everyone to check it out. The guys at Wire Capital are doing a great job. And obviously the potential here, I think, would be if the governance doesn't work, you could see a fork of ZRX. It is possible. And I think that would make sense to bring in some tokenomics and some actual systematic way that the actual economics of the system makes sense to hold ZRX. Because right now, there's no reason really to use it. There's no incentive, which is unfortunate. But it can be fixed because it is a governance token. All right, that's moving on from the ZRX vote. Let's talk about trading trends. Trading trends and about the media right now. The media is just hating on crypto. Whew. It's like seriously, every superhero is gotta have like a theme song. And right now, the crypto theme song, the haters are just singing so loud. Jeez. It's good stuff, but they can keep on singing and keep on lining up because it ain't going to stop us. We're going to keep on going. And when the mainstream media finally gets on board, it's going to be very, very interesting because they're going to have missed the boat because we're already going to be here. That's great. But CNBC literally last week had a mock funeral for Bitcoin. Come on. That's just gnarly. That's out of control. It actually makes them look like really desperate for eyeballs, really. The CEO of BKCM LLC investment firm jumped on and said, hold on a second, Bitcoin's not dead, and went on to outline several factors he believes crypto confidence will return, including the current sentiment approaching lows, implying that it's only up from here. A mock funeral, CNBC. Come on. Come on. We can do better than this. A little bit less bias. Let's bring it back. Come on. We should use the ZRX token to vote for CNBC's bias. One of our writers here, an incredible writer, if you want to zoom in on this, Joel, Andrew, has basically been talking about Bitcoin's price crash is the sanest thing that could happen, which is really good. His hypothesis is that Bitcoin isn't a smart buy and never has been. It's a gamble that paid off and may pay off again. Bitcoin's obviously ongoing drop might be attributed to the same shortcomings it has always grappled with. In other words, the time limit, the kind of inability to scale, the Lightning Network, blah, 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 things like that, right? Refreshing sign that markets are starting to grow up and move to actual fundamentals of projects. That's interesting. Real fundamentals of projects, right? Now, do you agree or disagree that we're moving to fundamentals, actually looking at dApps and applications like Andreessen Horowitz, I'm sure, will look at those kind of things. Are we moving to that place? Are we or are we not? I'm interested in what you guys have to say about that. When it comes down to it, but Andrew wrote a great article here as well, and one of the things he actually contends with is that potentially in the future, Bitcoin might fall over because there's too much energy. Too much energy being used by Bitcoin. If you estimate the energy consumption right now, it's about 0.5% of the world's energy production is going into Bitcoin. And as the difficulty keeps going up and up and up, that's going to be way harder to deal with. And the other issue with Bitcoin right now, at the end of the line, is that when eventually the block rewards end, you'll only be dealing with transaction fees to get paid to keep the network alive. Now, if you're only getting paid transaction fees, you'd probably fork the blocks and actually go with the really valuable blocks, right? That's going to destabilize the system. The other thing that's going to happen is that if you just put your old laptop having a punt on Bitcoin, that's probably a better gamble than putting a big amount of hash power, right? Instead of investing all this electricity, you may as well just punt from the sideline like a lottery ticket and hopefully you win Bitcoin. The other week we showed there was someone who actually with a laptop won the block reward, which was kind of funny, but goes to show you that the people still without, with laptops can win. So if you go back in time, go forward in time, what might happen is that the Bitcoin might slightly destabilize as it comes to the end. As the energy costs start getting higher and higher and higher, and miners don't like to, they keep their cards close to their chest, and they don't like to say how they're actually getting their electricity and things like that. But it's clear that as it goes further and further, there are no advanced models for Bitcoin as to how it will survive. Do you agree or disagree? Do you think Bitcoin could have some trouble in the future? I think it's very stable right now. I think it's got a great opportunity right now. I think it's going to great places, and hopefully we can fork or do something in the future and solve this issue as Bitcoin gets older and older and older. But who knows? Maybe a stablecoin eventually will become the basic currency of actual cryptocurrency. And Andreessen Horowitz obviously are investing very, very heavily in that. And I think as I said, I'm very bullish on stablecoins, as I think it increases trading volume and will help the entire market. Have a read of Andrew's articles, because guys, he's literally like on fire when it comes to the deep analysis. Follow some of his links, read about what he has to say. I think it's incredible. Joel, can we post this article about Bitcoin's price crash to everyone out there? Because it is an absolute cracker. Andrew works really hard. He's deep into crypto and he really thinks about it, really studies it, which is really, really cool. Check it out, guys. Obviously, there's a lot of different speculation there, and I've talked all about it, so I'll just leave that there. All right, guys, the next thing we're going to be talking about is some wacky news. Let's talk about some wacky news. So John McAfee apparently was allegedly attempted to be assassinated the other day. After falling silent on Twitter in recent days, McAfee has re-emerged, saying, according to him, he was in hospital, fighting for his life. Someone tried to poison him. You got some quotes, Joel, about this? I would love to see the tweets about this. Real funny stuff. I apologize for my 3-day absence, but I was unconscious for 2 days at the Vinden Medical Center in North Carolina and just woke up. My enemies maged to spike something that I ingested. However, I am more difficult to kill than anyone can possibly imagine. I am back. It sounds like, you know, like there's some sort of like RPG game, you know, and it's like one of those when you pause and you speak to the wizard and the wizard tells you the story about what happened, and then, you know, you wait there and you hear all the story and then you wait and you press forward because you don't want to hear him speak too much. It's almost like John McAfee's like one of those guys. You know, real drama. What do you think, Joel? You play some of those games out there? Does anyone play RPG games? What games are you guys playing right now? I've been playing Zelda on Nintendo Switch with my 2 little girls. Now that's a fun game. They did a really good job. I never played Zelda before, but it is a fun game. Not that I own any Nintendo stock, guys, so don't worry about that. Have we got any questions coming in, guys, about any of these things? Bring us back the quotes here, Joel. Let's read another one, because I really want to get into this. And for those who did this, you will soon understand the true meaning of wrath. Wrath, that's such a great word. I know exactly who you are. Youth had better be gone. Youth? You had better be gone. That's so good. So good. Responding to one well-wisher, McAfee said, "It takes more than poison, bullets, or hanging to kill me. All 3 have been tried more than once." Wow. Wow. Let's bring back the last tweet, Joel. I gotta read this. This is pure gold. This is like controversy. Back to real work. Today I'm announcing my ultra-secure wallet built by Bitfee. It will forever change the landscape for crypto storage. Would have told you earlier, but if you read my prior tweets, well, I was unconscious. Anyway, you gotta check it out. Unconscious, come on, man. I don't know. I love the drama and it brings attention to the space and it's really good in one way, but in another way, like, I don't know. It's like watching like a car crash just hit, like smack a wall every single day in the same road juncture. You just go to the same place and you see it. It's like Groundhog Day. It's incredible. I love it. All right, moving on. We've got the singer Akon. Akon? I hope that's how you say his name. He has proposed to launch the Acoin cryptocurrency and build an entire crypto world in Senegal. It's currently under construction as well. The Grammy-nominated singer plans to launch his own cryptocurrency called Acoin. What does Acoin do? Well, it's the blockchain entrepreneurship, and it's obviously, well, I'm not sure. But let me tell you right now, there's going to be a pretty cool crypto city, futuristically built in 2,000 acres of land, gifted to Akon from the president of Senegal. They call it, I don't know. This one's too much for me, Joel. I don't even know where to go with this. This is just smart city planning designs with blank canvas for kryptonizing our daily human and business exchange towards inventing a radical new way of existence. Like, I wake up in the morning and I think about some really wacky things. Like this morning I woke up and you know what I thought, Joel? I thought I was living in a simulation. You know, like you actually believe it. Like I was genuinely in the belief that we're living in a simulation right now. And you know all the weird things that happen, the anomalies that no one can explain, like when you go down to quantum mechanics and it doesn't make sense anymore, all those kind of things. I think that's just where basically the computer program ends. It's like where, you know, look at a TV screen, you go all the way in and you can't quite see enough detail, and then it just changes randomly. If you were to look at it, you can't really tell, but if you zoom out, then it makes sense from the picture. I reckon that's what quantum mechanics is. It's just the computer program zoomed in real far. We just can't tell. And the thing about it is, I don't know how to tell. But if someone does know how to tell if we're living in a computer simulation right now, I would really like to know. But that's this Acon one's pretty much on that same level. Joel, does those two things connect at all in some way?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Joel's giving it to me, guys, on that one. We're having a really esoteric show today, guys. Esoteric show of the day. You know why we're having such an entertaining day today? Because we're really in a very important part of the market. And I just want to try and help everyone have some fun today, because you know what? Up, down, sideways, we're going to keep on going. But you've got to have fun while you're doing it. And I believe in this space. We're here to help you change your life with cryptocurrency, so we're going to be with you the whole entire way. Don't worry about that. Item number 9 on the show today is explain that term. Woo! The terminology today is, we're going to talk about candles and candlesticks. What are candles? And what are candlesticks when it comes to cryptocurrency? Well, let's bring up the graph here, Joel, and talk about this. Now, this is your regular cryptocurrency graph with green and red. If you are colorblind out there, you won't see the green and red, and that doesn't matter, but just assume they're either moving up or down. Now, when you look at this, I'm just going to bring it up on my screen, Joel, as well, if that's all right. Let's have a look here. We're going to explain this. Candles are the rectangle-shaped thing. See this little rectangle here? That is the candle. Burning bright. And they've got little wicks on each end. That's where the price moved, right? So the price at the end of this movement or this time period ended here. It did go down here, but then it came back up, then it ended. Then it moved to the next time period. And at this time period, it went from between here on the wick, but then it started from here and it went down, and it actually went all the way down to here, but then it came back up and ended here. In other words, it starts here and ends here. This one starts here, it ends here. This one starts and ends here. It did move up and down there. Starts here, ends here. It starts here and ends here. That's an up when it goes green. And then again, it starts here and ends here. As you can see, candles just move in line with the candle. The wick itself is basically the price movement range, and the start and the end, the length of it, is the price movement inside that time period, if that makes sense. So red candles are scary. Green candles are really happy. That's what we want to see. The candlestick is reddish, obviously. It's going down. If it's green, it's going up. We talked about that. The other thing is about wicks that come out of the rectangle. They show the high and the low in that time period. But the actual candle itself shows the price movement of where it started and where it ended. That makes sense. So price movement of the wick, and then the candlestick itself shows you the price movement. Now the thing what I love about these candles is they're always burning pretty much on both ends. Doesn't that say something, Joel? You know, like you burn the candle on both ends at the same time. It feels like my life, really. Non-stop, on the go, continuously. A wick at the top of the candle, if a wick at the top of the candle is very short, this suggests the coin is on the up as it has ended the day close to its highest recorded price for the day. If the wick at the top was long it would show that at some point during the day, the price of the coin was much higher, but people have started to sell to make a profit. Sometimes, you know, when like the price goes way up or it goes way down and then it bounces straight back up and the movement isn't very much. If we go back to this graph as an example of that, you can see this one here. See this one here? It's like a pin. It's like a pin. Boom. What I like to look at these ones is it hits the bottom and it hits the bottom, hits the bottom, hits the bottom. Unfortunately, you know, that's obviously keeping the price going up, but then it's hit a real bad one when it goes down like this. The scary ones that tend to be, for me, is when you have the wick at the top and you've just got the candles like literally just falling and there's no wick on the bottom. That tends to be pretty scary because you're going down. There's no wick on the bottom, it means you haven't hit the bottom yet. So just have a look out for that. If you want to have more detail about how to read a candlestick graph, check out the How to Do Technical Analysis and Read Cryptocurrency Market Guide. Joel, if you want to post the article into the channel. It's a great guide, guys. This is literally like written better than I've ever seen anyone write an article about this. It finally made me understood it. Chris Stead has written a great piece here. He runs the Gaming and Cryptocurrency show here at Finder, and I strongly encourage you to check it out. Guys, let's have a look at the prices right now. Where are we at? Bitcoin currently, right now, is trading at 6,206, we're slightly down. Ethereum at 457. EOS at $8.04. Bitcoin Cash, $746. It was trading around $800 the other day. Litecoin at $81. Poor Litecoin. I remember Litecoin when hit $100 the other day. Remember that? Tough one. Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic up 6.41%. Someone explain this Ethereum Classic thing to me. I think it's like every single time I should just learn from my pricing that potentially it's going to be in a good place. Up 6.41% at $15.66. Ripple at 47 cents. And Tron down. It's the only coin that's down 4.1 cents. It's potentially because of the plagiarism thing that's potentially coming out right now. And Binance up 4%. This is Binance coin is a strong coin in my opinion. I was talking with Trader Cobb the other day about his view about Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash tends to move and potentially is a hedge, could be used potentially as a hedging tool. We should bring Trader on to talk about how he uses Bitcoin Cash as a hedging tool, but could be potentially used as a hedging tool for Bitcoin. And he really believes in that, which is really good. All right, guys. That is pretty much all we've got to talk about today. Joel, do we have any questions coming in from anyone out there in the audience? I do want to bring up a guide in the meantime there is a guide written, if you want to bring this up, Joel, written by the Random Walker. It's published by four guys at Princeton talking about the instability of Bitcoin without block rewards. And there's a lot of information, a lot of data here about what potentially could happen to Bitcoin in the future. It's a very controversial topic. And potentially they suggest what could future cryptocurrencies could do to fix this issue in the future. So have a look at this article. I think this is a very interesting guide and something which I think a lot of cryptocurrencies or anyone who's working with ICOs, there's a lot of mathematics and things like that that are out there that I strongly suggest you have a read of. Joel, if you want to post this one, it's written, actually linked to from the energy consumption guide that, again, Andrew has written. And it's an amazing, again, an amazing article. Strongly suggest, that you have a look at that. Again, guys, like when it comes down to it, here's the link. When it comes down to it, Bitcoin is here to stay. Regardless of anything, there are problems. We're going to adapt. We're going to keep rolling. We're going to keep flowing. And let me just tell you right now, we're here to change your life with cryptocurrency. And we're going to keep doing that. We're going to keep tuning in. Do subscribe. Join the newsletter on Finder to hear about what Andrew has to say and all our other great writers as well. Come on and join the chats. Watch the videos. If you're watching in replay, which a lot of people are, I encourage you to check that out. We've got a lot of very interesting ICOs, a lot of very interesting experts coming on. And thanks very much for tuning in to the Daily Exchange. The Daily Exchange! Subscribe!
Subscribe!
See you guys later.